hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. Hi. Who's here? Hey, Glitter. How are you? Glitter, 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 glitter. It has. It's only been like 2 weeks, but it feels like a long time. Hey, Mayfox. How are you? It is so weird that 2 weeks feels like months.
How are you now?
How are you now? You made it, you made it, you made it. How are you guys? What have you been up to? Seven days to your first con? Oh man! You excited? Are you scared? How you feeling? It did feel like forever. Glitter, you're totally right. It's crazy. It's so stupid how that works. Both. That's pretty typical though. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I would just say make sure you have a little bit of caffeine and not too much. Too much caffeine, like even when I have too much caffeine and I'm at a con, like I talk way too fast for people. So it's kind of good to have a little bit, but not too much and more than none. So like maybe if you take a caffeine pill, take like half. Or maybe drink half a cup of coffee. I don't know. It's weird because you don't want to be over caffeinated. Oh, Glitter, but that's necessary, and that's smart of you. So I'm glad that you're actually doing that. A lot of people don't.
Bring snacks.
Yeah, and bring snacks too. So like every time we go to a convention, we've got like Nutri-Grain bars. You want like a mix of like chocolate, salty, sweet, fruity. At least I do, because I need different like tastes throughout the day. I can't do the same taste over and over again. Like I think Gabe could just eat protein bars forever. I can't do that. I get cravings, so it's really good to have little packaged things. Because when I first started off, I was dumb, and I got like real lunches that were maybe Chipotle or Jimmy John's, and as good as they are messy. And it's always good too to have, there are these things that I get. I have really bad teeth with really big gaps. So I get these things that are like, they almost look like little mascara things almost, but they're for your teeth. They're like dentist sticks or something. They're for flossing, but they're really good to keep at your table, because even if one of those, you know, one of those little bars gets caught in your teeth, you can just, you know, squeegee it out basically, and you're good to go, because you don't want to be talking to customers and have like a giant gob of something in your tooth. Also, I got a new light, and it's great. I feel so much better not being lit from below. I think my past couple streams I looked really horrific, literally, like it looked like it was from a horror movie. But yeah, this light's pretty good. Actually, Gabe, I should give you the link to the light for your Amazon thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, actually, let me see if I can do that real quick. Sorry, guys. In case you guys want it. It's only 45 bucks. And it's actually, it's meant to be one of those, like, makeup selfie tutorial mirrors, but it works really good. And I think they made it cheap so that, like, let's say 15-year-old could save up for one pretty easily. I don't know. That's how I think about it anyway. They always hide the share button. Well, there's usually a share item. Where is it? Because I clicked share this item. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'll Facebook message it to you. So Gabe's gonna make a link out of it that's easier to paste in the chat, because otherwise it's way too long. Mushy, what are you doing? Get out of there. Thanks, Glitter. I think it looks a lot better. I look a lot more even, you know, than before. God, it was bad. I mean, you should look at the last stream. I'm embarrassed. It's really bad. Now I have to learn not to wear a black shirt with my brown background because I'm lost currently. But yeah, these are really cool. Also, not to oversell it or whatever, but it's got this attachment in the middle for like phones. If you want to use it for makeup, it comes with a mirror, like one of those zoom in regular mirrors. It's got a lot of attachments. It comes with its own stand. And like for 45 bucks, oh, the coolest thing is you can, okay, two things. You can dim it, which is really cool. And you can turn it to cold light or hot light, like warm light. Right now I've got it on warm light. You probably don't want to see it with the cold light. My pale will come through and just destroy your retinas. But it's really cool that way. I haven't seen like a light that can do both of those. So it's pretty cool. Oh, glitter. Hey, don't do that. It's gonna hurt you.
Fern.
Okay. So I'm working on a Druid dog today. His name is Titus. This guy lives in South Africa. And I got this commission at Gen Con in August last year. Hey, stop messing up your bed. She's messing up her sheet. Can you fix that? Yeah. So, anyway. Well, I'm glad you guys are here. Thanks for being here. I know we've kind of fallen off our stream train. I feel bad about that, but at the same time, I can't help it. Also, I keep forgetting to put tags. Let me put the tags down. Illustration. Sometimes I want to put that I'm doing fan art just to get the tag and to be a douchebag. I won't do that though. I won't do it. Oh, you know me and I want to. Character creation, I'll put that down. What?
My little drawstring on my hoodie went into my cup.
Cool.
It's the worst.
It's pretty bad. I can't just do art. That's so silly. I'm okay with this. This is fine. Question is, will it update like it's supposed to? No, it did not. Okay. Try again. Weird. Dragon Con has its own tag.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably because people stream from it. Streams are in it.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I wonder if every con has that. Maybe? Alright, I tried to do it again. Hopefully this one works. You see the tags? Oh, Mayfox, that's adorable.
Yeah,
They're there? Okay. They're not there for me. Golden liquids. What are golden liquids?
no.
Huh?
Oh.
I mean, that could be depending on who you are. Is it a brand or is it ink? Looks like it's on wood too, I'm guessing.
Oh, golden brand.
Huh?
Golden brand.
Is it golden brand acrylic?
Yeah. Broken.
Oh, it does say liquids on it, doesn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
I've never heard somebody call it golden liquids. We always hear golden acrylic. Like, the fact it says liquids, I always forget it says liquids. Here's the hard part now, lighting my piece. Because I've got 2 lights on the piece. No, it's okay. It's okay. I think liquids, I think like Liquitex, that brand. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who does that or what they are. I think that's acrylic too. So do you guys still watch a lot of streams? I'm kind of curious right now about like the state of Twitch. I feel like they're actually hurting to keep people like affiliates actually active, and I think that's why they actually opened up for affiliates to do more emojis, which before they only gave us like 3, and now it's like 3 per tier, something like that. So I feel like they're really struggling to keep affiliates engaged because, I mean, honestly, if you're not partner and you're not pretty active and you don't have a active fan base, really there's nothing keeping you here. And I think Twitch is having a problem with that because, you know, they're so big on their main big streamers that the little guy just kind of falls off. And I think they're struggling to keep them on, people like us, because really we're, you know, come or go, we just, if we stream a lot, we don't get much out of it. If we stream a little, we don't get much out of it. So like for us, it's hard to justify streaming almost at all anymore, which sucks. Oh, are you Glitter? What do you guys notice? Oh, Nightshade, you do. Hi, Nightshade. Tell me what you guys notice. Have you noticed a drop overall in just engagement and people, everything? I don't know. No, Glitter, I think it's cool you're a full-time watcher. I like hearing that you are. And plus, you're very valuable to us right now, telling us, you know, what you've seen. Shoot, I forgot what kind of horn that is. Oh, this is what sucks when you're doing something and you leave it for a while. Nightshade, how you been? I'm gonna be starting your commission soon. Try to get it to you by the 18th. Springbok. This guy that lives in South Africa names a few animals that he pretends his dog attacks, and these are like animals I haven't really heard of, like a springbok. They have cool horns though. Brown. Good to know. Oh, Nightshade! Yay! Everything's still going good then with her? Ah, that's true, Glitter. Yeah, the art side is tough. You really do need that support system, because if you guys aren't kind of cross-promoting, it's really hard to just do it on your own. I mean, that's part of why we tell you guys, if you start streaming, you know, get a schedule down so you know when you're streaming, you know when your friends are streaming, so that, you know, if they're streaming, they'll be like, oh yeah, and Cloverkin's gonna be on in like 10 minutes, so I can raid her. So that sort of thing is gonna help. But then again, if you kind of fall off the wagon like we have, you know, it's not gonna do much help, or good, rather. I feel like we live in a perpetual state of winter now. Like, I feel like winter is not even gonna end. You know? Like, doesn't it feel like it's here to stay? Like, we just live here now, and this is what life is like. Life's like this. The Art Insomniacs team? What's that one? Hey, Eric, how are you?
I think that might be the one that like there's like 500 people in it or something.
Oh, geez.
It's almost not even like.
It's like why be a part of it?
Yeah, there's no point to it. If that's the one I'm thinking of, because there is one that I think Bodie was in, and it's literally like it might even be 1,500. I don't remember, but.
Jeez.
It's like, yeah, there's no point.
Well, that is tough though when something is. What?
Unless people go to the Art Insomniacs group channel,
To
and
find
then they just
people?
sit there and wait for, like if somebody stops streaming, then it just kicks over to somebody else.
I don't even know how to find teams anymore. Like, I'm out of the Twitch loop, and I feel like they've changed some stuff between the time that I, was more active versus now. I keep saying that coming up, I'm gonna have free time and stuff like that, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that that's April for me. March is gonna be nuts, and I still won't get to do anything really of my own. So I think for my Patreon for March, for those of you who are in it, I have that Mythical Monthly Guardians tier, and I think I'm going to be a little bit cliche this month. I didn't want to be for February. I didn't want to do anything like Cupid or Love or whatever. But at least the Leprechaun, yeah, he's got some commercialization to him, but he also has kind of a dark side to it. So I kind of want to, I guess, talk more about that in this Patreon post. So I think for March he's going to be the monthly Mythical Guardian. And then at some point I'm going to start breaking off and doing my own Guardians. I just wanted to kind of get the idea across by using more well-known ones. But anyway, that's what's that going to happen with that. How have you guys been though? It's only been 2 weeks. Feels like months. But how's everybody been? I kind of wish this... Ooh. I can do this. Ooh.
Pixel Cactus.
Hey, Cactus. How you doing, buddy? I always do think it's good to reflect, so if you guys want to talk about your best thing that's happened in the past 2 weeks, maybe that'd be healthy, aka good. I'll be at Emerald City March, what is it, 14th through 17th, so I'll be in Seattle. Oh no, Cactus, don't even worry about it. The past 2 weeks, we haven't had streams, because week before last week, I was at a con. Last week, I ended up having a deadline that I had to cancel the stream for to work through it. And Gabe has had similar problems where he's had deadlines and stuff too. So, past 2 weeks, we didn't even have a stream for you to miss, technically. So don't even worry about it. Oh yeah, do March of Robots for me, Fox. It's great. I was doing it for the past couple of years with this one series I was doing. Seems like I like doing that, actually. Instead of just ending it after one, I kind of keep it going a couple of years. You should take a nap, you're all fussy. You're all fussy, look at you be fussy. She's tired. Popo is tired. Hey guys! Emma Lazowski, thank you for the raid. Oh my goodness. Rococo Rachel, hi. Welcome. Oh, good evening, really. True that, Emma. Thank you so much for the raid. Dumb school stuff? Ah. Eric's, that sucks. Remember to doodle now and then if you want to stay happy. It's hard. Being busy can kind of drain your creative side, so the more you can sneak in a sketch or two, the better.
Emma has got some really nice watercolor.
Really?
Really nice.
Emma, way to go. Watercolor, hell yeah. May Fox, thank you for the sub. 7 months. Oh man. Guess who I found, you guys? Oh, it's a sub shrub. I found him. We finally unpacked enough to find some stuff. Oh my god, I'm so happy to be unpacked. At least mostly. How much do you think we're unpacked? Like 80%?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and we have our shipping room. Oh man, it's great. I feel so good about it. You don't even know. It's great. So here's the sub shrub. He appears when you sub. And May Fox is sub for 7 months, so she gets 7 nub rubs from the sub shrub, which also means during the time I am rubbing the nubs of the shrub, you get to make a wish. So, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go, May Fox. Thank you so much for your sub. Sub. Nightshade, thank you. I appreciate the bits. Always, homie. Always. Thank you. Oh, Eric's, I feel ya. Well, as long as you're aware of it when you're doing it, you can always stop, you know? So that's the good part. They don't make it easy to, like... I can't just follow Emma really easily. That's so weird. Oh no, Nightshade, no! Well, thank you for the sub, Nightshade. I'm gonna get you too. Hold up. 18 months though. That's nuts. Wait, how did Sniggle get it again? Unless he somehow... Yeah, that's weird. Wait a minute. That shouldn't be happening.
Clicked over.
No, it's Sniggle, but he got full health now.
Oh, weird.
Hold on. Let me look into this real quick. Honey, what's wrong? She's just laying on the floor crying. You just went for a walk? You're tired. I know, you're tired. Yeah, it probably is a glitch, Nightshade. Let me I don't know why that would be glitching that way, though. That's really messed up. She is adorable. It's true. If you guys want more of these sounds and her snorts and her everything, I'll put her Instagram here. There you go. Fussy puppy. Oh, good, Eric. I'm so glad. Yeah, Emma, if you're still here, if you want to put in like your social media stuff, and for those of you who just came in, my social media is pretty easy. I'm basically everywhere as Clover can, so feel free to go crazy, go coconuts. Does she just want to be pet? She gets so fussy when she gets tired. It's like if people fought people, like fisticuffs fought when they got tired. It's like hangry but different. It's for sleep. She gets so fussy. Awesome. Thank you, Emma.
You were recommended by Rachel. Or Coco, what is it?
Oh yeah, Rococo Rachel.
Yeah.
No, she's been here before.
Yeah.
Many times.
She also does some really cool wood burning stuff.
That's true. The wood burning thing, I love. Looks so cool. Is she housebroken yet? You know, it's funny because all the puppies I've had, they will go back and forth with having like a good stint of, you know, being housebroken. We do the bell system for her. So if at any point you hear a little bell, that's her ringing it to tell us, hey, I need to go potty. And she was doing really good with that for like a week or two, and no accidents really. And then past 2 or 3 days, she's been having more accidents. So it feels like it's an on and off thing, but it takes more than a year usually for them to be fully like 100% housebroken. And she's only like 4 months old right now. So, I mean, she was born in October, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
End of October.
End of October even. So she's still a baby, but she's huge. She's very big. Like for a puppy. I think she's gonna be a big girl. But yeah, it takes a little bit. She's got a little ways to go. Shoot. See, I left this drawing for a bit, and now I don't remember what I was doing with it. Sometimes I do those pencil lines, and I'm like, what was I doing? So I don't know if I want to make this green, that green. Kind of do. Well, this for sure has to be green. What are you doing, Mush? You just sitting? She also sits like an obese man who's given up on life. I know it sounds like a terrible, like, image to describe it as, but I have a feeling you all know what I meant when I said that, so hopefully it at least gives you like an image. What are you doing? You got the hiccup? Oh no, Gabe, she has the hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
It's always so sad when puppies get hiccups. It's like, I want to help you, but I don't know how. That's how my cat used to sit, right? Where their legs are like out and their paws are in the middle and they're kind of slouched and they're like, oh God, another day. I can't do this. It's like they only live for food. I mean, we've all been there, right? So maybe describing it as an obese man who's given up on life, I should just say an obese person, because the heaviness is what I'm trying to convey there. How heavy she is. Yes, Rachel, yes. Very much like a pug. I mean, she's a bulldog, so she's pretty hefty. Like, I would think if anyone saw her, they would know she's a puppy, but they probably wouldn't know how young she is. Because she is probably close to, what, 30 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
You think 30?
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, we kind of blew that apartment standard out of the water, I guess. Hey, did you get the mail?
Yeah.
Can I see it?
There wasn't anything except for that letter.
The Midwest one?
Which I will check.
I want to open it.
I don't know.
Huh?
You opened the last one.
What do you mean I opened the last one? Emma, thank you for the follow. I followed you too. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Is anybody drawing right now? What are you guys up to? I could make his pants green. And make these... This actually is the most time-consuming part for me, is to figure out where the colors go, because I don't like a lot of colors to be next to each other. So I'd like to actually, you know, have them be different. Is that what it is, Gabe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess they charge us $75. So,
Did they say why?
25 plus screw holes in the unit.
Really?
Yeah. I'm sure they were looking for a reason.
So did we at least get 500 back?
We got 638.
Oh. Wait, what?
Because of all the deposits for probably that and everything else.
But the pet deposit, they basically kept that. Like, that's like a non-refundable one.
No.
That's so weird. That place was so weird. I'm over it. Bad apartment experiences, you guys. Horrible. Oh, and for those that were waiting, we have our new P.O. box set up. So, if you've been waiting to send us stuff, because we moved and we told you if you're going to send us something, hold on. And I had a couple people that were bugging me, like, did you set it up yet? So yes, now it is set up, and if you want to know what it is, it's below my video on the desktop version. So if you're on your phone, I'm not sure if you can see below the video if it's got all the links or not, but if you're on your computer, it should be right under the video. Also, I put it up on my Insta story today, so you can also see it there. God, this is way too dark. Hold on, you guys. That's not the green it is. Oh my goodness. Yay, new P.O. box! I know. I'm excited too. I love having a P.O. box. It takes a lot of stress away from when you have a home business. You do get a little creeped out sometimes because, you know, you worry that there are people that are unhinged, man. Like, a lot of people you wouldn't expect that would get crazy, but you want to protect yourself, especially as a lady, you know. So, with that being said, yes, new P.O. box. That's pretty close. It's still too... Oh yeah, you're gonna hear her snoring now. She fell asleep. Sorry, this is gonna get crazy for a minute. There, that's pretty close-ish. I'm going between the gamma, the contrast, and the brightness. It's kicking my ass. You can hear it. Hey, is the echo okay? We tried to fix the echo in here. I know some of you guys last time weren't too happy about it. Rightfully so. It sounded like crap. But we changed it from an omni to more of a directional. So hopefully it's better. Come for the art, stay for the snores. And that's why her nickname's Grandma. She lives up to it. She hacks a lot too. Like a grandma. Oh, it sounds better? Awesome. Okay, good. Whew. Yeah, if you guys ever notice something that's off, either visually or sound-wise, please let us know. Because we can't always sound check our own stuff as well as we'd like to. Actually, go back in with the 65. So we've been watching Letterkenny. Have you guys ever seen Letterkenny or have heard of it? I think it is like a Canadian show, right? It's not just made to be Canadian, like it's actually Canadian?
Yeah, it's Canadian.
Okay.
Oh, you bet, Rocco. Rachel.
Rachel, let me make sure I'm following you too. Can't remember if I am or not. Coco's hard to spell. There we go. Sorry about that, Rachel. I guess I wasn't following. Oh, for those that were... Wow, that is a name. So, I did these behind the booth at Amkey 2 weeks ago. I was doing that, this guy, and then... Yeah, can you hand me the drawing that's in the scanner?
Your scanner?
Yeah, I don't use your scanner. Ah, don't bend it. I just made a print today of, I was calling her my crow crone. So these are the pencils. I did do digital stuff to it. So the print actually has her with tones and all that kind of stuff. But I made this guy an albino crow, which if you've never seen albino crows, look it up. I started a series of just albino animals. I love it so much. Oh my God. Love albino animals. Anyway, so I ended up making a print of this, and I'm going to test it at the next couple cons and online, because I'm curious to see how many people actually want a print of an old woman. Because so many people just buy prints of pretty young girls. It's typically that, and then running up to that is like either pretty boys or hot men, you know? And after that it's like, I think animals usually. And flowers are in there somewhere, stuff like that. But I love drawing old people. So when you're talking about conventions and like what people want just in general, there are things that are more popular by default that sell better. And some people, you know, some artists really enjoy doing that subject matter. There are people that love drawing pretty girls and flowers, and so they're lucky enough to where their stuff would just naturally sell, because that stuff is typically, you know, more liked, right, just by normal people, right? So when you're me and Gabe, the things we enjoy drawing are kind of niche. They're either niche or they're just unpopular, you know, and they don't always come back into being popular. They were at one point, I feel. But like I draw, you know, Beatrix Potter type animals and outfits and things and cute little scenarios. Example, like the other day, one of my warm-ups, well, there's this guy too. Like he's just interacting with a little ladybug. Like I love simple things like this. And then I did another one the other day of, here's a mouse that's riding a snail. Like this is the type of stuff I like to do. And it's not very popular, just in general. But it's like, would you rather go against what you'd normally do and enjoy doing just to make money, or will you take the hit, do what you want to do, and not make as much money? Overall, over a long period of time, you're going to be more happy you stuck with what makes you happy, obviously. But there are some people that would rather have the money, so they'll draw, you know, what's popular till the end of time. But I think if you enjoy drawing something, even if it's not popular, do it anyway, you know. What's the point of art otherwise? Yeah, hey Jazzy. That's my girl. Well, thank you, Rachel. Hey, John Miller. How you doing? Don't worry about it, Rachel. Yeah, like I feel like Instagram lately has just been a cluster. It's been a mess. I've honestly, in the past 2 years, probably lost a lot of faith in Instagram. I think it's been rejiggered a lot in a lot of ways we can't see, but we can definitely feel it. Like, you know, a lot of friends I know that have made art accounts are growing like 5 times the rate that like Gabe and I do, and we all kind of use the same hashtag. So I feel like because we've had older accounts, that maybe older accounts are almost getting stunted or something. It's really weird. I feel like there's something going on there. The airy bird one. Which one is that, Glitter? Airy bird one. Exactly, Rachel. Yeah. And I mean, if you're talking about wood burning, I actually feel like that is kind of timeless. It's unconventional, but I feel like it's timeless in the sense that if people see it, they're always pretty much like, wow, oh yeah, wood burning, you know? And they'll, you know, look at it and be like, because a lot of people like the smell of it. Me for one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, I just want to get back into wood burning for the smell.
You know
Honestly.
what I really like is like some companies do like you can get coins and stuff like that are wood burning.
Yeah.
But those are like mass produced, so but yeah, like just the smell of it.
Smells
That's
so
my
good.
favorite thing.
I used to wood burn, and I actually recently bought a new wood burner, but I have not obviously had time to use it. But if I did it, it would just, I don't know, I want to start mixing it with ink too. I think that'd be so cool. Yeah, John, don't worry about it too. The past 2 weeks we haven't streamed anyway, so you haven't had a stream to miss, because it's been crazy. The rest of March is going to be crazy too. So I'm hoping April will let me breathe. I'm really banking on that. Oh, the little bird on the floating island. Glitter, I don't. That actually sold the first con I put it out at. However, it is my new free print. So for anybody who orders anything this year, I made it into a print and they get a free print of it. So if at any point you order something, there you go. You can have that. It's actually the same size as the painting was too. So. Oh, Jazzy, that's so nice. I wish there was a way to actually capture that smell for a long period of time, but I know there's not. And all the things that smell like bonfire, no, they never do. Yeah, Eric's, and something about digital is actually what I've noticed from being at conventions and stuff and hearing what people tell me about my art and hearing people at other tables is they're kind of disenchanted by digital. Like, they seem to know that there's more magic with traditional work because more is put into it. It requires a lot more skill, in my opinion. I feel like it absolutely requires more skill because there's no going back. With when you put something down, and traditionally there's no undo for the most part. I mean, unless you're using an eraser. But like right now, using a marker, I can't really undo anything. You make a mistake, you have to turn it into the art. You know, make it actually integrated within the piece, and that itself is art. So knowing how to work with a mistake, if you make it during traditional, you know, making, that's part of art. I feel like that's part of skill, knowing how to deal with that, you know, how to use it. Happy accidents, right? But that whole thing. I think that's gonna be gold. Yeah, I'll make that gold. So trying to plan in the future here what colors I'm using. This is tough because some of these wrappings are a different beige than this beige. There's so many beiges. Except to be fair, this is eggshell, which is a type of beige. And this other one is sand, which is another type of beige. Like I said, so many beiges.
So many pages you can make a brown book.
Okay. Well, that happened.
I felt very
Oh, beiges, like pages.
yeah.
Yo, okay. That was lost in translation a tad. That's okay. That's cool. That's
I
cool.
felt like Drake there for a second.
So many pages you can make a brown book.
I feel like you could have said something like brown bound book. Like there's a lot of alliteration possibility there.
That's too muddled.
Brown bound book.
That's Drake though.
Maybe if I was
He's muddled.
maybe if I was like Bold Brothers in Harmony,
Oh, get out of
they
here.
would have been like, so many pages that the brown bound book.
Gotta admit, that sounds better. Just saying. Throwing that out there. Now the dog himself is actually gray, so I didn't want to put any gray in what he's wearing, because then it would, again, be muddled. I don't want to muddle nothing. So that's part of it being difficult to plan colors. And I just want to make sure every piece of his clothing doesn't run together. So these do look close, but once I start actually adding the pastels and stuff, I can tint them, you know, warmer or cooler to further separate them. So I'm not worried. I'm not. And he's got these little bones. So all these little things that I've got going on in the picture are also like little inside jokes and things. I think I've explained this to you guys before, but I'll do it again anyway. So when I do these pet commissions, I try to take into account like funny stories or inside jokes that the owner has with their pet. So like the fact these are all saber-tooth teeth here. He was saying that him and his coworkers have all these stories that, you know, this little schnauzer is in the wild and like safari type areas, and he's taking down all these giant animals and things. So he's got these, and then he mentioned an animal called a springbok, which I hadn't heard of, but it's kind of like an antelope or a gazelle looking thing, and they have these horns. So I added that in. So it looks like a lot of random stuff to us, but not to him. Once he looks at it, he's going to see all these little things. And a lot of mine have Easter eggs like that, so. Did we go to One Fantastic Week? No. I'd feel kind of silly going just because our friend Pete runs it, and I don't know, that feels weird.
Especially for me, I've known Pete, like, personally, like, I've hung out with him, like,
you guys have been
we've
friends.
gone to movies, like, we went to, like, when I was first hanging out with him, like, we went to go see Howl's Moving Castle. Like, I've stayed
we live how close to him, too.
Yeah, like, we stayed at his house, like, we slept over at his house,
like he's our buddy,
yeah.
So it's weird that, I mean, I guess I would go for the other people, obviously. Like,
yeah.
The last one, they had David Peterson. I think it would have been cool to talk to him, but I don't know. There's not a lot I feel I could gain from those, because I guess the baseline of it is, when we tabled at Spectrum, for those that don't know Spectrum, it's like a high-tier fine art show and book and just, I guess, collective. We tabled there, and I felt pretty out of place just with my art style. And this is where I'm talking about, like, earlier, where there's certain types of art that are just by default kind of popular. I don't use oils. I don't use, like, you know, charcoal or make giant canvases. I'm not fine art. Like, I don't consider myself fine art. I don't want to really be fine art. So, like, for me, that kind of cancels out Spectrum, a LuxCon, and the One Fantastic Week crew, I feel, is usually very fine art centric. So I feel it's more for people that are aspiring to be fine artists. So for me, I feel like it's not really pertinent or applicable, you know? Same for Gabe. He's a comic artist, you know? And unless they have, like, Mike Mignola going there.
I mean, even if he was there, like, I'm already to the point where all I really need to do now is just hone my craft and, like...
It feels weird being a little older and going to those too.
Yeah.
When you've kind of already dug your feet in the ground and you kind of know what you're about and you just have to do the work, you know?
And, like, I think Tim goes...
He just to hang out. He goes basically to, like,
there was like
network.
Yeah, and then Ellen.
And Tim's hero, Alan Williams, was there, so that makes sense. You know, we don't really have art heroes. Bye, Glitter. Thanks for coming.
Dead.
Gabe's is dead. That doesn't help, you know. Oh, Stephanie canceled? That sucks. I know a lot of people that went to that one for her. Well, I hope she was okay. Oh, you have? Okay, good. So you at least got to at some point. That's good. Yeah, they're all fantastic. Yeah, and a lot of the people that I do kind of look for, the thing with Gabe and I is, I don't know if this is weird or what, but we don't like looking at the people's art we admire too much because we don't want to accidentally steal from them, you know? And we like our stuff to be pretty, I guess we're kind of like art Puritans. Like, we want what we make to be mainly us for the most part. Yeah, we've got like childhood influences that I'm sure play into it, but for the most part, you know, we don't want to accidentally bite on someone else's stuff, which means like you've seen it, you ingest it in your brain, you know, you probably backlog it somewhere, and then when you're drawing, you pull it out, and you may not even know what it's from, and then, you know, that's when things kind of get muddy. I don't know. Well, thanks, Nightshade. Yeah, I mean, it's traditional work, but fine art is like gallery worthy. You know, it's like, I really feel like it is medium based, but I know it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like once you've messed with like oils, you could be considered fine art, and then if you do pencils and crap on the side, it's like, whatever, you did oils, so you're fine art still.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel.
You know what's weird? Ashley Wood.
He's considered fine art?
I consider him fine art because he doesn't. It's all oils. It's all acrylic. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, he knows the figure well enough to distort it.
And like I know he did I know he did like Pop Robot or whatever robot Pop Bot, and I think it was a comic, but it was so loose form comic that
yeah,
it's almost like
that is weird because I consider him fine art too. It's not like it's pop art.
Like I wouldn't consider him a comic book artist.
And I don't think anything that's not fine art is cheap. Like I wouldn't say that. Like what Gabe and I do doesn't mean it's any less quality or anything like that. But I feel like where it fits into certain slots is different. So like Gabe and I feel have a much easier time doing commercial work if we need to. You know, we're kind of chameleons. Where fine artists, I feel like they just grind and grind and grind at a style. And they stay that style, you know? Like, for those of you who know, like, the Spectrum artists, if you saw one of their pieces, you'd probably know it was them right away, right? Like, I feel like fine art is that chiseling away at themselves to try to make that one style. Where we like to actually dive into a bunch of styles, because you don't need one style as an artist. If you want to do fine art, you can, and, you know, get that down, and you can have multiple styles as a fine artist too, but you're going to have them probably chunked in different products almost, or different series, you know, where you use different mediums and things.
A lot of fine artists, their pieces take a considerable amount of time.
They can, yeah, but like Justin Gerard and say like Corey Godby, they're considered fine art. But they do a lot of pencil work too.
But even then, like those pieces take them a while, unless it's like a throwaway piece. But
and that's what I'm saying. I wonder if
their big body of work.
Mm-hmm.
They're, you know, 20, 30, 40, whatever, upwards to 100 hours of work gone into a painting or like a pencil piece.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like illustrators, you do a piece in a day, you know, and then you put it out.
Yeah.
And you move on.
And Justin and Annie are great. They're great people, for sure. And Cactus, I feel like fine art really... I do feel like it's on a person-by-person basis, honestly. This is kind of our opinion and how we see it. But I think nowadays, knowing what we kind of know, fine art now... Because there's also high art, which I feel like is the art that's not ever really talked about on the internet or anything like that. It's like gallery and in the gallery sphere, which doesn't really even touch us, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Like doesn't touch the Spectrum people, doesn't touch anybody. Like they're the paintings that are millions of dollars and stuff like that. Like we don't even hear about it. I feel like that's high art. But fine art, I feel like, is in the level of Spectrum, a LuxCon, people still doing kind of what the old masters did in a new way. They're doing giant pieces, they're using oils, they're taking hours and hours and hours on stuff. That kind of thing. I feel like that's very fine art. where Gabe and I don't care about hyper-realism or doing things super realistic. We don't want to spend a ton of time on art. Like one of these maybe takes me 8 to 12 hours at most, and that's like pushing it. Like I don't want to be spending that much on a piece, ever. Right? Because usually Gabe and I have too many ideas that we want to get those out more than we want to do a really, really, really crazy job on a piece. So we value ideas more than, I guess, the process. Whereas I feel like fine art, it's kind of the opposite. They might have a very simple idea that they want to get across, but they will just elaborate on it visually. That sort of thing. They can be deep too, but that one's hard. Because some people can retrofit a meaning onto a piece and just bullshit it to the bank. Seriously. And I know a couple people that do that with their pieces, and it makes me want to just throw up. Because it's like, you did not, I know for a fact, you just wanted to draw like, I don't know, hair and leaves or something. And then you put this whole thing behind it. And it's like, no, that wasn't really your original impetus, you know, but each their own, right? Each their own. But I don't know, it really, this is part of figuring out what kind of artist you want to be. Do you like spending a lot of time on one piece? If so, you might be suited for fine art. If you kind of just keep having more ideas and you just want to get those down and out and show the world, and you're more of a storyteller, that's a whole different side of things. You know, and there's no shame in being any of these things versus the other ones. You just have to know it and own it and be proud of it. So we're storytellers. We're not as much illustrators as we are storytellers. Yeah, we can illustrate fine, but we consider ourselves more about the story, what's going on there, you know? And I'd much rather have someone read a story I've made than just look at a print I've done. Like, I feel like every artist nowadays has to have prints, just almost as side income, you know? But heart lies in the story, and stories take a long time to make. So that's the tough part with us. We have to actually buy ourselves time, literally, with money, to make things, to make money in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Hey, Wobbles.
Hey, Wobbles. Oh my god, I have to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna be right back. Gabe, you don't want to draw anything right now, do you? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Be right back. Burp. Well, okay. I guess that makes sense. Ugh. Yes, Wobbles, thank you for the host, buddy. How you been? Okay. Ah! Oh no. I didn't like redo the, oh my god, the white balance on my face. That's good, Wobbles. How's streams been? Chillin'? Nice, nice. Okay. Will we be at Dragon Con? I will be. So with the addition of our baby, aka the puppy, aka Bruni, we've been splitting up conventions. So Emerald City I'll be at this time, and then Gabe will be at C2E2, and then I'll be at ASEN, and then I will be at Dragon Con. And Gabe just applied for New York Comic Con today. For anybody that wants to apply for New York Comic Con, it did just open. So that's a big one though. If you haven't done a con before, I would almost say don't apply. It will blow your mind. You might die. So build up the cons before doing New York Comic Con. But he'll probably be doing that one this year because I can handle doing Dragon Con alone, but doing New York alone would be horrible for me. Mainly because I don't like New York either. But like, I don't know, navigating around New York sucks. It's just... But yes, Dragon Con. Rachel, yes, I will be there. What color is this dog's beard? It's like beige brown. Brown beige. But yeah, we significantly cut down on cons this year, which I'm already feeling better about. I think by this time we'd probably have 4 already, and it's like, we probably had triple as many last year. It was bad. It was way too many. I got too many commissions to where I couldn't keep up with the cons going on too, so it was rough. This year I'm not gonna do that, so. I didn't get into Gen Con either. I'm so bummed about that because that's my best show and it's so much fun. But hopefully next year. That'd be really nice. Who's Melissa Gay? Rachel. I'm sorry, I do not know who that is. I apologize. I'm not really into stuff I probably should be into, knowledgeable about things nowadays. I don't know. If she's pop culture, I probably don't know her.
No, it's fantasy.
Fantasy artist?
Or, well, like traditional artist.
Oh, really? Is she a Spectrum artist? I've never heard of her. Oh, she's fantasy, yeah.
Yeah, she goes to a LuxCon.
Okay, yeah. See, there you go. I know more Spectrum artists probably than a LuxCon artist. Which is weird because I feel like a LuxCon doesn't have as much of a presence as Spectrum, like on the internet and stuff, but it's well known within its community pretty well. Which I found that out with Spectrum too, that it is a very close-knit community where you get into it and you're basically in, you know. That's cool, Rachel. Was it fun? What's a Chesley? I feel like Spectrum is a little like below just in terms of, I don't know. I feel like it's below a LuxCon. Like I feel like a LuxCon almost even like dips into high art, but that's just my opinion and what I kind of see. But I don't by any means mean like below, like the art's less quality. By no means do I mean that, but I feel like it's not as revered. I don't know.
LuxCon?
As a LuxCon, yeah. Like I feel like a LuxCon is above Spectrum, probably because the more hush hush something is, I feel like it's more revered that way.
Well, I think the thing with the LuxCon is it's only traditional for the most part.
That's true
So like
too.
you can only have, or in the one part of the show, you can only have traditional artwork.
But
So it's
doesn't
like,
Spectrum have that too?
no, I mean you could do whatever at the Spectrum show,
Oh.
but this place has like one of their main parts of it is all traditional.
Yeah,
So it
that
sort of
makes
weeds
more
out a
sense.
bunch of people.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And I know it's a little bit harder to get into a LexCon too. Like they have some pretty high standards. That's probably what I'm thinking of.
Mhm.
That they have higher standards than Spectrum. Like I feel like if I tried and I wanted to, I could probably get into Spectrum, like the book. Because I mean, it was pretty easy to get into the con. Like as far as tabling, like I feel like I've got a lot better pieces now when I got into the con pretty easy. So I don't think they gate people too much on that, but I feel like a LuxCon, you know, is a little bit more difficult to get into. Oh, that's good, Rachel. Yeah, I would think that'd be a really good learning experience. Yeah, I've never actually heard it said low art. I know there's a high art, but I haven't actually heard someone call other art low art.
Zines.
I would say zines are low art, yeah. But like, I feel like the people that actually would qualify themselves as low art would just go ahead and say trash art. You know? Like, I don't think they'd be like, call me low art. I feel like they'd just be like, no, it's just trash.
Straight up.
I
trash
like to
art.
make trash. Like, Gabe, wouldn't you say that? Like, you make zines.
Well,
You're a zine guy. Wouldn't you rather
Yeah.
just say it's garbage, it's trash,
yeah.
than say low art?
Yeah.
It's like you say low art, you're trying to stamp a better label on it, and it's like, ah, it's trash.
Just call it what it is. Embrace it.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
This is trash comics.
Oh, lowbrow.
No.
There you go, Rachel. Yeah, I've heard that, which is weird because I don't hear people say high art is highbrow. You know,
Well,
that's
you know
so
who
weird.
Would? You know who would though?
Huh?
All the ziners.
Would say
All the-
highbrow?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Yeah, depending on who you talk to, the terminology might switch. It's so weird.
Because then it's like, oh yeah, okay, all those people, all those fancy art dudes.
And here's what's weird. So cake, right? Cake feels like low art
It's a,
where they're trying to strap some fireworks and glitter and shit to it and like shoot it to high art.
it's punk.
But it's not too because it's usually polished. It looks really like a lot of that stuff.
Some of them. Some of them.
But
it's like
compared to that one you went to,
yeah.
that's like everyone's
Yeah.
swimming in trash and they love it.
But
Cake,
it's
I
like,
feel like, is more like
it's nicer, yeah. But I think it's because it is.
it's like high art, trash art.
It's the best of the.
The trash art,
It's the ones that know how to draw well.
right?
But they.
But
they
it's still like
They still add that zine flair. It's almost like a. It's like
I like the way I put it. It's highbrow trash art.
yeah.
It's kind of like the modern art of the zine world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really weird though because a lot of art stuff is changing now because of the internet, and like it's hard to explain, especially being in conventions and stuff, because people are starting to realize that, you know, fan art really isn't viable as an art form. You know, you're a business person, you're selling fan art because, you know, that's not your art, right? So like with that switch, I feel like more people are paying attention to like the different kinds of art that are there. So more people are finding Spectrum and stuff like that. But I feel like there are subcategories that are just shooting up all the time. And art is getting simultaneously easier and harder to find. So people that are already established, like, you know, me, Gabe, and our friends and stuff, it's harder to find some of us that aren't already like at 20K followers, you know? Like we're harder to find now. That sort of thing. Hey Katie! How you been? Rachel, do you say your last name Reichenberg? Did I say that right? I like testing myself. Is it Reichenberg? Rick. Damn it. I have a friend who spells it E-I. And he also says it's like Reich. Or Rick. He doesn't like Reich. But, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Rick. Damn. So close.
Is it me or like IMC?
What?
IMC.
I don't know what you're
I
talking
forgot
about.
what it stands for. It's like One Fantastic Week, but it was before One Fantastic Week.
I know schoolism.
Um,
I don't know IMC. I've never heard of that.
It's, I don't know what it stands for, but it's like every year they have one of these, and so like Ian McCaig is one of the instructors, Mike Mignola, Carlo Ortiz.
Those are like the Spectrum people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially Carla.
yeah, Boris Vallejo is one of the teachers. Dan Dos Santos.
So the masters from Spectrum?
Basically.
Yeah.
And it's like a week-long workshop thing.
But it's with them?
But it's with all them.
Oh.
And there's like a campus that you can stay at if you want.
Interesting.
And it's
I could see that, Rachel. That would be annoying.
illustration masterclass. I think that's what
Oh! Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard it said IMC.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of that. The master class.
But yeah, I don't know why I thought it was like in my head. I thought it was like a lot more money, and I know this is still a lot of money, but maybe it's because we went to the
England?
England, but it's
Went to the England?
it's like 2,100 per week.
So that's why I wanted to go to that Brian Frown, Wendy Froud class thing.
Yeah, where was that? What was it?
You had to go overseas for that, but
Oh.
Wendy Froud cooks you fucking breakfast.
Wow.
Like, and you get to just hang out with them and whatever. Like
When
for
is that?
it already, like, everything already passed
Oh,
for it.
okay.
But I was like, $3,000, I'll pay that for hanging out with them too. Hell yeah. Like, how cool would it be to be at least at that level where you could just be like, yeah, pay to come hang out with me. Cool. You know? Like, that'd be okay. And I feel like with the art world, and I've talked to Tim a lot about this too, we're lucky because, you know, if you get big in the art world, you're not necessarily big in general. It's not like you're a pop star, you know, where once you get big, everyone knows you. In the art world, it doesn't really work that way. I mean, unless you work on pop culture stuff, like Ian McCaig.
Yeah.
I'm sure more people know who he is because of Star Wars and all that stuff. But if you're just kind of big in the art world, you can kind of still stay under the radar, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Katie, so true. And I would rather learn from people who have learned and who have been in the industry forever than to learn from a teacher. That was one of my worst realizations in college, was one of my teachers right out of college got put back in as a teacher. Like, he was a student, then the next year he was a teacher. And once I found that out, I was so pissed. Because I was like, I'm not getting any real world knowledge from this guy, because he's, like, I could even still be more advanced than him right now. Like, I felt so cheated. Thank you, Art Institutes. God, it was so, I was so mad about it. And I'm still mad about it, but I mean, Art Institutes obviously ate their own, you know, whatever, anyway. But yeah, it does happen a lot, and it sucks, because first of all, the people that are actually, you know, like successful with what they're trying to do are still doing it, you know? And I know it's bad, but the camera's being weird. That old saying of those who can't, teach, I think kind of plays into some scenarios. Like in his scenario, he wouldn't have been able to make it So he became a teacher of it, you know? And like I said, that doesn't work for everyone, and that doesn't apply to everyone. But in a lot of ways, a lot of the teachers I had were that way, and it's like, damn it. You know? Because they're still, the ones that I would rather learn from are still in the trenches, so to speak, you know? It's tough. It was so strange. I felt like my money was totally wasted.
It's really weird though, because I know that if I went to, if like let's say I did go to IMC and Mike was there,
Mm-hmm.
and like if I just brought up Richard,
Oh,
like,
you have
like
a...
yeah, like my mentor is like one of his best friends now. So
Oh,
it's
really?
like, well, because he's like him, Mike and his wife are the only ones at his wedding.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Funny.
So it's like I know I'd be like, hey, so
Richard Starkey.
Richard is
right?
basically my dad. What?
Richard is my dad. Richard's more like grandpa. For me, anyway. He could be your dad.
Dad, or I just tell Richard, I'd be like, hey, can you text Mike and tell him you know me?
He doesn't believe me.
You know, just to make it easy.
Yeah, help me out, Richard. Help me out. And it's true, Katie, and that's why I say, like, you know, it only applies to some of them, because some will just be like, okay, I learned all this stuff, and now I can just be a teacher and slack off, and not, you know, whatever anymore. God, this is going to drive me crazy. Hold on. Maybe it's too bright. Maybe did it. I don't know. I have a feeling that I'm going to just slip off this chair at some point, too. Like, it's so slippery. This might help. Oh my god, that did not help. Sometimes the weight balance gets off. Maybe it is this still. Go away. Are you the reason? Yeah, that might be the reason. Damn it. Oh, now it's really dark on that side. Let's do that. Hey, that's the best of both worlds. Yeah, Katie. No ill intent with what I said. That's why I said some. Because I'm just mad about that one guy, man. I just... don't understand. I want to make this an autumn scene, but I'm not sure. Does South Africa have green grass? Yes? Yes.
Everyone's got green grass.
Do they have seasons?
They don't have snow.
Do they get autumn?
No. I don't think they have trees like we do. Maybe. I don't know.
Shit.
Wow.
Because I need to know whether to make this grass green or yellow. And to make these leaves yellow or brown or green. Geography, y'all. Geography.
Let's refer to Google Maps.
You could probably just Google image search South Africa and look.
Maybe in the south.
For which? Green?
Yeah.
Is it mostly yellow?
Cape Town, is that their big place?
That and Johannesburg. I think Johannesburg is a major city though. I think Cape Town might actually be the main one.
Johannesburg. I mean, it looks green.
Like very green? Because I mean,
Got green.
District 9 was not a good indicator.
No, but I think that was like in a.
It was in a decrepit zone.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, that's not a good indicator. Because in my mind, that and Chappie are all I've got in my head for South Africa. And those probably are not good indicators.
live.
Is it very green?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they've got. I think it's below the equator. Oh shit. It's below the equator. It's below. It's enough below the equator where they can have that shit.
Wait, what does below the equator have to do with it?
I guess not.
We're above the equator. We have green grass.
No, I know,
What is your logic here?
Well, I'm thinking the closer you get to the equator, the hotter it is. No. How does that work?
Not how you think.
No.
Because think of, like,
Man.
Africa. You're way off.
Yeah, no,
homie.
why is Africa so shitty? Like, okay, the top half of Africa is like
Deserty?
deserty.
What's deserty?
So is
Has to do with humidity probably more than anything.
but so is like Saudi Arabia and Iran, Afghanistan, and all those damn places.
I mean, it'd probably be the same as Texas, Arizona, blah blah blah. For
I
us.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's their arid zones.
Yeah. So then where's the equator? I thought it was all based on the equator and where it's at and all that shit.
No, usually arid zones and stuff like that are based off mountains. Like if there are mountains around, usually one side is going to be super lush and one side is going to be super arid.
I like zooming out on Google Maps and seeing like all the little saved places I have.
I can only imagine this is how you were in school. Like you'd be learning something and then all of a sudden it's like, I like to play. I like to go outside the thing on the Google map. Ooh, you can zoom out.
Zoom in and I'm like, oh hey, I remember going to that place because I made a little thing on it.
I just gave ADD.
I put little like markers on it. Little fave dot things. So I don't know where they are.
No idea what he's talking about.
You know, like in Google Maps, if you see a place and you hit the little save.
I have faved Jamba Juice
Wow.
and the home I live in. That's it. Do you just fave random places?
I just so I remember where they not random. They have reasons.
Like what? Like what have you faved?
Well, let's see. In England, in London, I faved a ton of things like Gosh Comics, Moleskine Store.
Yes, Rachel, that was so cute too.
Treadwell.
Badonald's. Let's all go to Badonald's.
No.
Gabe, I don't think you've seen that video yet. It's of a little boy that gets mic'd by his dad while he plays hockey, and you get to hear all the random things he's saying.
No.
Like he's ADDing like crazy. It's cute.
Like my brother?
Yes, just like your brother. Gabe's brother talks to himself mad crazy all the time. And it's like, I'll be bunking with him at a con. This creeped me out a couple times because I thought he was talking to me. He ends up talking to his phone sometimes or whatever show he's watching. And other times he'll just say a random quote or something out of nowhere and he just doesn't like silence, I don't think. He doesn't, does he?
I don't think so.
I don't think he likes silence. So he's always trying to fill the silence with something. And for those of us who enjoy silence, like myself, I'm always like, what did you say? And he's like, I wasn't talking to you. And I'm like, okay. Ren, you know when you talk out loud, the people that are near you are going to think you're talking to them. He's like, oh yeah, sorry, forgot about that. Okay, got it. And then I'll do it 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god, okay. I'm getting used to it where I just don't say anything anymore, and if he actually wants to talk to me, I think he comes up to me to actually engage with me now, instead of me being like, what? Oh, I was talking, fine, It's crazy. Do you guys know people like that? It's nuts. Like, even Gabe sometimes does it. Actually, Gabe's dad does it. And I think Gabe and his brother got it from their dad.
Probably.
Because I heard Gabe's dad doing it when he was here a little while ago. And I was like, so that's where they get it. I think it's like kind of hereditary. Or maybe it's a learned thing where if you're around your parents enough, you know, take it on. I don't know. But it's funny, weird. God, this is so much more, like this is how, it's a lot more colorful. For some reason, OBS still hasn't fixed their color settings, so I can't get the exact, like, saturation that it is. So I apologize. Oh yeah, talking to your dog, that's totally fine. That's different. Like, I talk to my dog all the time, but if my dog's not there, I'm not talking to myself. Whereas I think Gabe, his brother, and probably his dad, if they're alone, they're still talking to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know what happened. Can you turn on this light real quick? I have a feeling because it got dark out, the lighting changed on my face. Not that one. That didn't really help. But that's okay. You can leave. Put them both on. Doesn't matter. Not even affecting anything. Like, it's made... Ah, that sucks. Whatever. Yeah, I'm using Streamlabs too, but I'm using it on Mac, and since Mac updated its OS recently, of course everything for PC gets updated sooner because more people are using PCs, and it's like... I mean, technically Mac is a PC too, but for some reason Mac stuff doesn't get updated as often, so they have the settings, the filters on the video. So when you do the color filter, normally it puts a nice color filter on, but lately the gamma, the contrast, and the brightness, everything's screwed up since that update. So I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, OBS is kind of a train wreck, to be honest. Like, it's always kind of been here and there. And I'm really tech savvy, so I know how to fix things if they go wrong like that, and I can't even sometimes with it because it's just too difficult. It is just stupid difficult. Because they've actually got something wrong on their end of the programming. It's like, you guys gotta actually fix this. I don't use the web client either. I'm using the downloaded version, so the desktop version seems to be updated less often than the web client, so maybe that's my fault. I don't know. Oh, it's crazy, Rachel. Gabe had some trouble with those when he had his Surface. But I'm gonna just have that be white. Yes, no, maybe so. Oh yeah, or they're like super delayed. Yeah, I feel you on that. It's weird because I feel like the stream watchers sometimes see it before I do. Like sometimes when Gabe streams and I'm moderating his stream, I'll see like a raid or something before he even does on OBS, so it's like, okay, great. Well played. You're probably gonna get really warm because I turned it up to like 72 for right now. I'm freezing. Who's got a wet nose? This boy. He got a wet nose. black pencil. Boulder Dash. Hey Hop, what's up? How you doing? I'm gonna actually make this a darker marker. Dog has this great hair that's like falling over his eyes, and it just looks like a really bad haircut. I love it. It's hilarious. Oh, see here? Okay. Weird. Like there's a follow that just jumped into my jar, but my readout isn't saying that I got one. Magic. The internet is magic.
Magic, magic.
Mainly conventions, because of a couple of reasons. Like I was saying before, like, first of all, art shows are hit and miss. Like, depending on what kind of show it is, who sets it up, where it is. I went to an art show in Iowa once, totally bombed. Totally bombed. But, like, if it's an art show that's maybe put on by, like, a gallery that's well known or something, I'm sure it'd be a lot different, but I feel like art shows just, like, they could be 0 to 100, like, anywhere in between there, where for me, conventions are a lot more predictable, and I can almost even pinpoint how much I'll make every time now. I spent the first 2 years of my convention life, I guess, figuring out what conventions are best for me and my style, who my demographic is, and all that stuff, and now I've been able to actually whittle down and concentrate the ones I go to and spend less money trying to figure out things. Now I know where I do well and I just concentrate on those. So that's nicer, I feel like, than the trial and error method, where I feel like if I was trying art shows, it'd be way more of a time and money sink for me. You know, I feel like art shows, also depending on where they are, have certain products and things they focus on more, or certain areas like more. So like I know jewelry and certain things that are jewelry centric that maybe revolve even around a certain gem, like are huge in Arizona. You know, like locale based type stuff. And a lot of art shows are very 3D centric. So like your wood burning and stuff, Rachel, makes sense at art shows for sure. But a lot of 2D illustration and like just paintings in general are a lot harder of a sell at art shows, I feel like. Jazz, thank you for the follow. But yeah, conventions for my style and for me are a way better option. A lot of my stuff, I get the comments of like, oh, your stuff reminds me of Redwall, Mouse Guard, Beatrix Potter, Brian Froud, all these people that are kind of in the pop culture sphere but on the outer rim. So I'm not doing the stuff that's mainstream by any means. I'm like a little bit more of the cult following, right? So people that know artists that are kind of similar in my realm, they appreciate that, and that's when you find your demographic, right? And I feel like art shows typically have a lot older crowds to them. Like, I feel like depending on where they are, you know, they're gonna be playing to their regulars a lot. Where I feel like conventions and stuff are so broad and their reach is so big that they can get just mass quantities of different kinds of people. Art shows don't usually get too many people. And we're talking up to 100,000 people at some cons, like doing New York Comic Con and, you know, Emerald City, Dragon Con, big conventions. Like, for me to pull the numbers I do there at an art show, not gonna happen. Not even close. Thank you, Jazz. Thank you. Now we have two Jazzies. So, Jazzy from Amkey, I'm going to call you Jazz. And our other Jazzy that's from a while ago, I'm going to call her Jazzy. She was here first. She gets dibs. And Rachel, it's not even about a following. Like, you don't need a following exactly to sell your originals. It's more like you need the numbers of people attending to sell your originals. So at Emerald City, when I went like for the first time a couple years ago, I didn't have anybody that really knew who I was. That didn't matter because that demographic in that area in Seattle, they love indie work, they love original work, they love commission work, they like a lot of things that they haven't seen before. So knowing that, I do really well there because I have all original work. I'm kind of an eyesore in a good way. So they appreciate that. Whereas if you go to, like if you went to San Diego Comic-Con or something, they're not gonna appreciate original work as much. They want Spider-Man, they want Wolverine, they want Marvel, they want the pop culture, bright colors, all that junk. The stuff they've seen a million times. They want more of it. So that area is very much about that. So I would not do well there. Not only that, but it's super expensive. However, New York Comic Con is almost just as big, and that demographic, for some reason, East Coast really appreciates original stuff too. So I always do really well at New York and Dragon Con, which are all East Coast. But Southeast Coast, I don't do as well. I didn't do well in a Florida con. I didn't do good at Heroes Con. So, you know, and those are far away for us. We're in Illinois. So I have to actually weigh where I do well and where I don't so that I don't waste money, you know. Oh, DHT, that's great. I'm glad you finished it. Congrats. Exactly. So Rachel, I would even say don't gauge how you're doing based on art shows. Do a few cons and do them in a few areas if you can. Because like I said, some things are area-based, some things are even time-based. So what sucks is cons that are on Easter, things like that, they bomb for me. Like the one time I did Awesome Con on Easter, sucked. But the time before, the year before, it wasn't on Easter, and it was great. But now I won't even go back there just because it is a lot of money. And I do break even and get in the green a little bit, but it's still not worth it. So, you know, it's one of those things. But I feel like if you get yourself out into that sort of area where it's more, you're getting a smattering of all these different demographics and people, you'll be able to whittle down, like, okay, what kind of person stops to look at my work? You know, and you'll be able to gauge, okay, well, you know, people that are usually, like for me, it seems like 25 to 60-year-old women mainly are my demo. So, and couples. Couples who want their pets drawn, that kind of stuff. Thank you, Jazz. I appreciate that. Hey, Kitchen. How you doing?
Kitchen.
Yeah, and you're right. Seattle, you guys love original indie commission work. Like, Emerald City is fantastic for indies. I love it. I love it so much. And that's actually one of the only cons. I will leave my booth to go look at other people's stuff. Because usually you go to so many conventions, you see the same crap all the time. And it gets tiring. You know, it's really hard to actually meet and see artists doing something new. And if you guys are striving to do that, swear to God, just do whatever you want and you'll stand out better than doing what everyone else is doing. You know? It's tough. It's weird too. Yeah, and online stuff, that's a total toss-up. Like, I can't even tell anything from my online sales. You really have to get out there. There's no other way to do it, honestly. And you're going to get so many more like follows and make so many more interactions and long-term fans by actually getting out and talking to people. I will come back from a convention and I'll have like 20 to 30 new follows that I got just in that weekend. That's so much more than I get even on a monthly basis just from internet crap. It is so much harder to find people on the internet now, especially artists. It's oversaturated. We get lost. It's an ocean. It's okay, DHD. Yeah, and Mayfox, whatever happens, just know that's a little iota of an experience. That's just a little con. If it goes good, awesome. If it goes bad, at least you have some more experience then, but don't really base anything off of until you get a smattering of other cons. It's kind of really about quantity.
I almost want to say don't expect.
Don't ever have any expectations for conventions. I'm serious. Like, that's the smartest advice I can give you, is to just not expect anything really. Don't expect to do good, don't expect to do bad, because honestly sometimes it's completely unrelated to you. Like, I didn't do so well at the last con I was at, and in the past 4 years I've done 4 times as good, okay? But that may not have anything to do with me. It might even have to do with the government, politics, where people's money is at, the weather. It was like below zero where the con was. Usually it's like in the 30s by that time, which is warm for us, but that might have something to do with it too. So it might be totally unrelated to you, and you just have to take that as a hit and be like, all right, well, that was that. Next one. You know, it's always on to the next one. You never really can, you can have a somewhat of a post-mortem, but it's not going to do too much, right? And even for print sales and stuff, I try to gauge what prints sell well, but you really can't until you do a couple cons, and then you're like, okay, I can kind of see, you know, a little bit of a trend here. And usually it's pretty obvious. You'll have a couple that just don't sell any. It's like, okay, I get it. But it's tough, man. Yes, thank you, Jazz.
I mean, like, take into account that for anybody who's gonna do a show, you just get ready.
Yeah, hi, Mars.
Hi,
Good
Mars.
Lord. Mars!
You
You did too.
Yeah. Anybody who's gonna do a convention, take into account that I've been a professional comic book artist for
20 years?
Like almost 20 years. And I do like 5% of what Ashley does at a show. So like.
And I believe presentation is a huge
Yeah.
part of it too. And what really sucks is presentation may not depend on like what you do or how you treat your booth at all. It honestly might even just deal with how you look, which is super shallow, super terrible. But, you know, like, example, Gabe does better at a convention when he's not wearing his glasses, when he's smiling and he looks more approachable. When he wears his glasses, it hides his eyebrows, so you can't see his expression. It makes him a lot darker, a lot more rigid looking, right? Because it's got a lot of corners. If he's not smiling, he just looks mean, right? It doesn't say, it's not very welcoming. So like, women typically don't go to his booth, even though it's pink, right? And women typically, not everyone obviously, but they gravitate towards that. So it's really weird because sometimes it's you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out and be super honest with yourself. We have a friend who kind of has the same problem, but he doesn't make any effort to really change that, and he doesn't do as good as he could. But you have to be honest with yourself and be like, okay, like for me, I don't wear my glasses. I feel like my glasses kind of nerd me up. They kind of take you out of the fantasy theme. So I wear my contacts, or none at all. I'm not that bad sighted, but it's one of those things where you have to think about how you appear to people and how you want to appear. It's a tough balance because you want to still be yourself, but be a version of yourself that's marketable, I guess. Thank you, Mars. I figure I do a lot of the wind blow thing to a lot of my pieces because I feel like it adds some action and some intrigue and interest, even though they're just portraits. Because if they're, you know, just kind of standing there, I get a lot of people sometimes who do like the, sorry, this is getting stupid. Maybe I can, I don't know why it's doing that. I'm not as shiny as I look. But if you've just got a portrait, it's just kind of boring, right? So I try to add some action in there somewhere to at least have some story, have some more ambience to place the character, right? I mean, when I do inside stuff, it's a little bit tougher, but... Sniggle! Hey, buddy! I've seen Breaking Bad. Tawny Fritz calls it her battle armor. It really is. Like, Cloverkin is my brand, right? If I'm not wearing the ears, I'm not really Cloverkin. So at the conventions, I gotta do it. When I'm on Twitch, I gotta do it, you know? It's a thing. Sniggle, you get 17 nub rubs. You ready? Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Thank you, Sniggle. Also, here's a cute little Dumbo octopus. Isn't he cute? He's so squishy. He is a squisher baby. He kind of wiggles too. He's adorable. I love him. Yeah, and it's the other thing is, like I talked about earlier, Jazz, I don't think you were here, but yeah, I still have the duck. It's in my suitcase with a couple other things. But what I was talking about earlier was with your art and the fact that you may draw things that people aren't really interested in. That's okay. You shouldn't change what you're drawing just because something else is or more popular. Like usually girls, pretty boys, flowers, you know, even animals is getting up there, but it's funny because I do the animals that aren't exactly desirable to people. But like some people even think my stuff borders on furries, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. No, it's not furries. But it's one of those things where if what you like to draw doesn't align with what's popular, you have to just be true to yourself, still do what you want to do because it makes you happy, and then hope that you come across your demographic and you sink your teeth into it and you stay there and you figure out, you know, what kind of people like your stuff. Because you could do fine doing any kind of art. You just have to find your people, right? And that's the hardest part. And that's where just being an internet artist won't get you there, especially nowadays when it's so oversaturated, you know? You just have to know that, you know, just because you're doing something that not everybody's into doesn't make it bad, doesn't make it wrong. It's what you like to do, you know? And because it's what you like to do, that should be enough, you know, for you. And this is where I usually get into that fan art dark side of things. I won't for those of you who have heard my fan art rant. But to just summarize it for those that are new, fan art is illegal. Fan art is bad for a lot of artists. I mean selling it. Selling it's illegal. Doing too much of it is bad for you as an artist. Go here for more info. But if you are doing fan art and selling it, you're in the wrong. Don't do it. Go to that site to learn more. And if you're doing it in your free time, more than you're doing your original work, you're really doing yourself a disservice, because you're not working on your own original ideas, which it is a muscle. It's like exercising. The more you think of your original ideas, the easier it's going to be to think of original ideas, because that's going to be strong. Your creative muscle, creative center is going to be strong, and it's going to be used to doing that, right? If you're regurgitating something else someone has thought of, you didn't create that. You're not a creator. Sure, you may be an artist, but you're not a creator. You're just redoing something somebody else has done, and that's not going to help you or your art career in the long run. So really think about what's important to you. Do you want to be a creator, or do you want to be an artist? I mean, you know, you could just, if you just want to redraw Spider-Man and do that, that's okay. But that's actually not how Spider-Man artists get hired. They don't get hired by drawing Spider-Man. They get hired because they have good ideas, they're good artists, they have good styles. And, you know, they can recognize that. Exactly, Rachel. You know it. You know it. Preach. And thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you saying that I stand out. But it's still hard to even get that exposure, you know? There was this chicken high school didn't sell me for much. Yeah, and Sniggle, that girl, your art isn't for that girl then. The fact she's mad at it shouldn't have any bearing on you doing it, you know? It's crazy. God, that's so creepy. The dog has a toy that says random phrases when it moves, and it's one of those things like, you guys remember Furbies and how sometimes Furbies would glitch out and just start saying stuff? Can you get that away from her? So sometimes this thing will do that, and it'll randomly spout creepy things, and it's like, we didn't move anything. It's just spouting stuff, and it gets really creepy. And it does have sayings like, I'm gonna get you, and come here, puppy. It's really creepy. I mean, the dog loves it because she can actually, like, hold something that's yelling at her and all that, but for us, it's kind of weird. It came with the dog, technically. Like, when we got her, the breeder gave us the toy. So, can't do much about it. Hack the Furbies. That's pretty cool, DHD. Oh. You sound like a creaky door. Yeah, no talking baby dolls. Don't even go there. You're asking for being woken up in the night and not being able to go back to bed. Or you'll randomly hear crying and find it in like a closet, and that'll be enough to be like, nope, I'm not going back to sleep. Nope, nope, nope. What's wrong, Mushu? What's wrong, baby? Do you guys have that thing too where if you have a pet, you maybe call them their actual name 2% of the time? The rest you have like a million nicknames for them? Why do you hate the Tupperwares? Hmm?
If you got a potty, go ring the bell.
Oh, Rachel, oh my god. I would cry. I would just cry. Mm-mm. That's... oh god. I don't even know how I'd retaliate with that. I would just be so upset that they'd even do that to me. Okay, Sniggle. Thanks for coming and resubbing, man. Appreciate it. We miss you. I hope you have fun at your sword thing. Kick some figurative ass. Obviously don't kick real ass. We know what happened with that. In the last episode. Oh, and you were the oldest? Oh god, Rachel. What is it, Mushi? Huh? What's wrong? You hear her do that? She's being so fussy. She's literally having a tantrum. I wonder if I could show this. I don't want to test it. Okay, maybe I will. Here. I'll show you guys what she's doing. Mushy! Are you gonna do it again? Do it again, Moo. She's over there and she's just pawing at this thing and crying. Bruni! What are you doing? You gonna do it again? She asleep? Sometimes if you do it, she'll do it. See? That's all she's doing. See what I have to deal with? You see this? That one sounded creepy. What's it like being a Twitch streamer? I mean, if you stream once, you're a Twitch streamer, so it's kind of whatever. Lately, not so good. Honestly, I feel like Twitch has kind of died off for some of us who aren't like super popular or anything. I mean, the main thing to do, no matter what, is to have a schedule. If you do plan on streaming, also take into account it's not for everyone, which I think some people try to force it on themselves because they want to be able to do it, but you may just not want to actually do it. It is tough. It is actually kind of physically demanding sometimes when you've been streaming for hours. You know, sometimes you forget to eat. It's just part of the deal. You know, and I think it's especially hard for some artists because they're naturally introverted and they're not used to talking to a lot of people, which is completely fine. And this is where I say it's not for everyone. Even I get super burnt out. When were we streaming the most? It was like 3 times a week each?
Yeah.
At our, like, when we started, we were like, oh yeah, we can do this 3 times a week each, which meant we were streaming technically 6 out of 7 days a week. Which was insane now that I look at it, because technically, since we're both on each other's stream, at least audibly, we were streaming 6 days a week, both of us. Spend some time with her. She just wants some attention. Just give her some hugs. Nothing squeaky. Nothing squeaky. Get her Bubba. It's not squeaky. No, it's not. She doesn't squeak it.
I think she needs to poop.
You need to poop?
You gonna go potty? Yeah.
She goes,
Come on, let's go potty.
go potty, baby. Papa's gonna take you outside.
Come on.
Go ring the bell. You gotta remember to ring the bell.
Come on, ring the bell.
So yeah, streaming can be tough.
Hey.
And when you first start off, if you do, want to start, you have to technically be okay with talking to yourself right away. Because you're not going to most likely have anyone watching. And sometimes they'll just be lurking to see what you're about. So you'll see like the watch thing be like one person or 3 people or something. You'll be like, oh, people are here, okay. But you have to just kind of naturally start talking to yourself, or at least kind of be saying what you're doing out loud, that sort of thing. But it does take a long time. It is a grind. And Twitch has actually made it a lot more difficult to become partner, which is really the only reason to do it religiously, like as a job. Once you've hit partner, they make affiliate easy to get to and make it so you can start making some revenue. And I think that's to kind of trap you a little bit, because you can make money. It's just, it's not really dependable right away. But so we were streaming 3 times a week, each of us, which was way too much because, like I said, we're both on each other's streams, and it was very demanding. And we started to eventually be teaching people too much. So we offered mentorships, and at the time, I had, where is it? I had a bunch of mentorships that were available, these ones. So I was doing all these because I had so many people asking me, and I didn't want to say it over and over and over again. And I only wanted to talk to the people that were really serious about it. So because I started talking so much about that, and I got so many people talking about that, I offered mentorships. And I did this for a while, probably about a year and a half. And then I just got too busy for it. So now I only do it once in a while. But it is really hard. And the other thing is, Twitch has seasons. So typically in the winter or during holidays, it's a little bit more dead. Some of you know we have like events where we do cheap art streams, basically, where we'll do what you want for half the price to a third of the price normally. And those are fun, but that's a way to get people on here during holidays, but usually holidays are dead. And I feel like for us in general, Twitch has been a little bit slow. So it's hard for us to keep coming back onto Twitch when we know we're not making much. And it is distracting. When you do have serious work to do, and you have deadlines and you have to get stuff done, Twitch can distract you a bit too much. And it's not necessarily good because of that. Because you get questions, especially being an artist, you get questions on, oh, what are you using? How do you do that? What do you do for conventions? And it's fine. I'm used to getting those questions, and I think they're good questions, and I'm here right now, and that's the time to talk about it. But, because I mean, I wouldn't be on here right now if I didn't want to answer them and stuff like that. But, yeah, there's a whole lot of emotions, I feel like, that goes with Twitch. But I feel like as an artist, it's another avenue that we can explore and get more fans and talk to people and things like that. So it's pretty valuable, but it's just another social media outlet that we can use, and there are so many right now that it's kind of ridiculous. But use the social media that you find the easiest and best to use for you and your art, Yeah, 75 average viewers. It's like, really, guys? Like, we have hit that maybe twice in streaming for, how long have we been streaming? Like 2 years? We've maybe hit that twice, so to have that every single stream, we would have to hit something completely crazy. I don't know. It is more talk show. You have to do a lot more to stand out when you're art, and it's hard. Like the fact I dress up like an elf, it's another piece to help me stand out. Because nowadays, standing out is the hardest thing as an artist. I mean, if you're lucky enough where your art stands out on its own, cool. And what I don't like is that people use fan art as their way to stand out. If you have to have a crutch like that, you're gonna run into some problems further down the line. Like you should, like, I always hate when something's announced. Like yesterday with Pokemon, a new Pokemon comes out. I just basically stay offline for another day and a half because it's all people trying to cash in on that hashtag, doing art, doing cosplay. Yeah, there was a girl that did cosplay already of one of the new starter Pokemon within like 3 hours of it launching. Come on, like people are so hungry for this exposure, this popularity, these likes, and it's so fleeting, you know? So let's say you do it. Let's say you do the hashtag. Maybe you do a little doodle of one of the starter Pokemon. Use the hashtag. You get maybe 5 to 10 follows off it. They're following you because of that, not because of your work necessarily. Like, it's so hollow, you guys, and I feel like people need to really think about what they're doing and why they're doing things. You know? Big picture. Big picture stuff. I know, Rachel, and a lot of people, a guy at Heroes Con that actually talked to me, he worked for Twitch, he was like, you should just do some fan art sometime, get some people in there, you know? I'm like, no, because that's not what I'm about. That's the other thing. If you do original work, you don't want to slip people fan art and make them think that you're going to do fan art often if you're mainly original work. If you're original work, just be original work and own it, you know? Don't try to cheap out and... Fan art is exploiting people's nostalgia, okay? For the most part, if you have a love for something and you want to do fan art of it, do it for free. Do it really quick, get it out, be like, yeah, I love this thing, awesome, and you do it for free. The minute you start selling it, it's for a completely different reason, right? It's not even for the same reason, the love of the IP. You're stealing from the creators. It's totally different. So you're exploiting people's nostalgia. Someone walking by sees Link and they're like, they remember having Ocarina of Time when they were 13, right? You're playing off their memory of that thing, and they'll come to you because of that, and just that. So that is not a way for you to really connect with someone, honestly, genuinely. That is not how you should be connecting with people. You want to really connect with someone? Do something from your heart to their heart. Okay? That's how you connect with someone. Not through something someone else has done and given them. You know? That's not the way to do it. Hi, Kristen. How are you? How you been?
I think also, like, to add to that is that you are doing something that's, like, from your heart. Like, that's something that you created.
The feeling you get from it?
Well, yeah, and somebody connects with you on something that you did. Whereas if it's somebody that's something that's already around and that everybody loves, like, there's a lot less, I think, like...
They like it because of the community.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but you do not need fan art for that reason. You know? Like, you can connect with people without that. You know? I mean, the fact you're even at a convention sometimes, you don't need fan art to do that for you. You're at this convention. You guys already have a starting ground, you know? But when you sell something that you thought of from your heart and someone else likes it, there's no better feeling than that. You know, someone likes your idea. When have you thought of an idea where someone agrees with you and you feel really good? Think of that all the time. It's a good feeling, man. That's good, DHT. Then just draw your lizard people. If they make you happy, do it. It is so hard, Rachel, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Oh, she's still got her mouse? But the main problem is, and I urge you guys to not buy fan art. Because when you're buying fan art, you're actually telling the artist, I like this, keep going. And you're also telling them that their ideas, their original ideas, aren't as worthwhile as this. Okay? Even if they have 50-50 at their table and you do buy some of their original work, at least tell them, I'd rather buy your original work than your fan art. You should just do what you want to do. Because, you know, they're stealing money, they're stealing time from themselves that could be all original work. There's no reason to do it. I mean, unless you're growing up and you're trying to find a style, which that whole thing is a myth too. You don't find a style, okay? Get rid of that thought. You're gonna have so many styles. This idea of one style is bogus. Get rid of it. There is no one style. You know, I have different styles for different mediums, okay? Depending on what I'm using, right? Everybody has numerous styles, and plus the more you draw, it'll just come out, because your style, or what you enjoy to draw, is just a culmination of the things you've said, yeah, I like that, no, I don't like that. That's all it is. So the more you do it, the more you actually concentrate down what you do. And there you go, Kristen, that's another thing. Changes with your mood. Yeah, and what's really sad is when the people that are really good at art are doing fan art where it almost looks official. That's bad territory, because then consumers don't know what's real and what's not, and that can be destructive as well. I would rather walk into a convention and every single table is completely from that artist's mind. That's cool to me. All right. Thank you, Jazz. This is someone's dog. I'm doing my pet commissions again on stream, mainly because I need to catch up on them. So, but yeah, I don't usually get in the fan art talk anymore. I usually shoot people that website and then step back from it, because I've lost friends, I've lost followers, because it is a very unpopular opinion, but it really needs to be spread. Okay? Like, if you know anybody who buys fan art all the time or makes it, please have a serious conversation with them. If they're an artist, tell them how they should be spending their time on their stuff.